Well, hello, everybody. I'm just going to check the audio and we will start this outdoor English lesson in just a few seconds. It's good to see all of you in the chat. It sounds like everything's working properly. It looks like everything's working properly. So that's good. I did just hear a funny beep sound from my computer, but I'm sure that's nothing important. We'll be starting in 18 seconds. And I will answer as many of your questions as I can. I hope you're excited. I do have the outdoor river cam set up, even though I'm also outdoors. So I will turn that on from time to time. But we're going to start in about 3, 2, 1. Hey, hello, and welcome to this English lesson where we're going to sit outside. We're outdoors. We're under a tree. Actually, we're kind of under two trees, if you could see them. You can see these leaves hanging down. And I'm going to answer as many of your questions as I can. There is a link that will appear in the chat from Nightbot, and there is a link in the description below, and you can click that link and then ask a question about the English language, about me, about the trees, about anything you want, and I will try my best to answer it. It's good to see a lot of familiar people here. These Saturday live outdoor lessons at the beginning of the month, at least at this time of year, outdoors are a lot of fun. So I'm happy to be here. I'm going to say hi to Chandra, Arturo, Rabia, Renata, Redfish and Crawfish, Selma, Ziba, Am Aju, Vitor, Freddie Wolf, Haki, Hafiez, Ziba. Let me scroll back. A lot of members here too. Yaroslav popping in for a little bit. Ralph is here as well. If I go back further, I think I said hi to Hafiez. Pedro Santos is here as well. Vitor, I'm saying names twice now, but that's okay. Hi to Unsel as well. And Mode Eggs is here. Mode says, hey, I was working on something and had this broadcast open in the background, and then I heard Mr. Bob's voice all of a sudden and was like, well, it's time. Yes, that's how it works, doesn't it? If you have this live stream queued up at a certain point, I appear and I start talking. So thanks, Mode, for hanging out here. Duke Deptre is here as well, saying hi to everybody. Tien, Beckruz, Ratifal, Dre, Tan. I'm going to stop saying hi now because at some point I do actually have to start teaching. This is the view we have this morning behind me. I'll put my little face in the bottom corner. You can see that the river is looking beautiful in the background. You can see that everything here is green and my lawn is freshly mowed. It looks nice as well. You can even, if you go here, see a tail of a dog as he walks away. But yeah, we're certainly having a beautiful day here. If I stop talking for a moment, I'm sure you can also hear birds chirping behind me. So that's not a sound effect. There's actual birds in the trees. Anyways, if you have a question, there's a link. Use the link to ask it. Try to use the chat to have fun and interesting conversations with each other. Let's start with the questions. Let me get the first one up on the screen. Let's see here. From Ruslan. Hello, the nicest teacher ever, Bob. Well, thank you. That's a nice compliment. If you were to invite a singer, an actor, and a businessman to your birthday party, who would that be? Best wishes. I think the businessman would be maybe someone like Elon Musk. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of a businessman that I would like talking to. You know, my favorite business people would be retired farmers. So I would invite men or women who were farmers for a long time, especially ones that grew flowers. I would invite them over so I could pick their brains. That's the phrase you use to talk about getting ideas from someone. If it was an actor, I would invite Matt Damon. I wouldn't mind sitting down and just chatting with Matt Damon. I do like all of his movies. And then singer, I don't really have an answer. I don't know. That's a tough one. One of my favorite singers. Maybe Celine Dion. I don't know. We could speak French and we could speak English and talk about her career. Next question from Ram. How many words do you know? I don't know. That's a good question. I think the average English speaker uses 10 to 15,000 words. I think if you're well educated, you know 20 to 25,000. How many words does the average English speaker know? Here's a good question. The average native speaker knows about 20,000 words. And if you're a college or university educated, you might know 30 or 40,000 words. So there you go. I think I probably know about 30,000 words, maybe 35,000. I have read a lot of books, and it's not often I run into a word I don't know. So I think that's a good indicator that there's probably quite a few words in my brain at this point in time. Shanu, do you know somebody who lost their YouTube channel? No, I've never heard of that. Generally, if you put out good, useful, entertaining content, you don't have a problem with that at all. Try to create things that people will enjoy or things that will help them learn, like this English channel. And that will keep you from having something like that happen. I know that is popping in quick. Know that says, hi, Bob, and hello, everyone. I just wanted to stop by to leave you a question and say hello. So we'll have to see what Know That's question is. Thanks for coming and popping in and doing that. Have a good day, Know That. Denny says, bonjour, Bob. I won't bother you with tricky questions. Let's just make small talk. What are your plans for this summer? Anything ambitious? Nothing hugely ambitious. I'm still a dad, so I will be taking kids to work. I will be visiting Brent at the end of June, beginning of July. I think the first week of July 1st or something like that. I'm not 100% sure yet. And then walking a lot. I do usually get back in shape in the summer. But other than that, no, nothing big. No big ambitious plans. I'm not doing some worldwide tour of the world or anything like that. So that is what I'll be doing. Know that. Here's the question. Hello, Bob. Personal question. Do you have any plans for today or tomorrow, or can you use this weekend to relax a bit? Thanks in advance, sir. So it is peony season on the farm. Peonies are a beautiful flower, but they need to be harvested 3 times a day, 7 days a week, for about 2 or 3 weeks. So we will be a little bit busy, but the cool thing is I am a lot less busy at work right now. As the school year ends, it gets very busy for students, but I'm on top of my work, so I will be less busy there. And because I'm part-time, means I will be home soon. But as to your question, Jen and I have absolutely nothing planned after noon today. We'll do a little bit of work on the farm, but we will be relaxing till Monday morning. But we're still going to go out and pick peonies 3 times tomorrow, but it'll be really fast. It'll just take about 15 minutes 3 times a day. So I guess not totally relaxing. From Dev, which place do you exactly live in? I live out in the country. I live in what's called the Niagara Peninsula. I'm between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, and I'm close. The closest biggest city is the city of Hamilton. So that is where I live, in Ontario, Canada, by the way. That is to give you the full details. Hey, let me check the audio. I think everything's working great. My voice might not be working great, not for any other reason than I talked too loud yesterday. So I'll just tell you what I did. I went on a field trip and we went to see a Blue Jays game. So I was in charge of a field trip. Me and some other teachers, and I took a bunch of kids to Toronto to see a Blue Jays game. It was a lot of fun, but I spent a lot of time talking loudly on a bus, like giving instructions and stuff. So you might hear my voice just be a little bit raspy, but I think it'll be fine later today. I'm going to have a sip of water. You can enjoy the view. The leaves aren't hardly moving at all, are they? Is that camera still working? I think so. I can't actually tell. Let me go check if it's still working. No, it's not working. I'm just fixing the webcam for a sec. For some reason, the webcam stopped working. There, now it's working as a webcam again. I know that Oscar ran into... I know it looks like a beautiful picture to you, but bear with me here. I'm going to switch to the laptop and then back to the camera again. There we go. Now if I go over here. Yes, it's actually working. Hopefully it keeps working for the duration of this live stream. It's so calm out here today that you can hardly see the leaves move. So if the camera freezes, it simply looks like a beautiful scene. You can't tell. From Toda, what did you learn after becoming a teacher? Well, one thing I learned was that, sometimes people complain about kids. They say, oh, kids, they're always on their phone, or kids were so much nicer when I was younger. But I find that teenagers are always the same. They do slightly different things, but they are definitely, the teenagers I taught 28 years ago behaved in much the same way as teenagers behave today. So that's one of the things I learned after becoming a teacher. How many students do you teach? I teach 2 classes right now. I teach about a little over 50 students. I think I have almost 30 in my first class and a little over 20 in my second class. So I think Know That's heading out. Have a nice weekend, Know That. See you. Sorry I have to go. Have a nice weekend, everyone. You too. Let's get to the next question. From Lara. Hello, Teacher Bob. Would you mind to pronounce the words letter, lettuce, and anthem? Because for me, it's quite complicated. Thanks. So sometimes I like to mail a letter. I don't actually do that. That's an example sentence. I just said email now. But you can mail a letter. You can put lettuce on your sandwich. And when you go to a baseball game, you sing the national anthem before the game. So there are some example sentences for you. From Renata. Hello, sir. Hi, Renata. Do these verbs mean the same? Entwine, intertwine, twine. Could you please give us some examples containing them? Thank you. Have a great day. So I would use the second word, intertwine, a little bit to mean when you're putting things together. The word twine actually refers to a really strong, thick string, usually used on a farm. We use twine when we might put twine around a bouquet, or when you have a bale of hay, it will have twine on it. So those are the 2 that are most familiar to me and that I would actually use. And then let me just check something for you. Yeah, entwine, wind or twist together. You might say that 2 people, like if 2 people were kissing and they have their arms around each other, that they're entwined, but it's not a very common word to use. Let's go to the next one. Marina. Hello, Teacher Bob. Hope you're doing well. What's your favorite color? I really like orange. Orange has always been my favorite color. It's not because my parents came from the Netherlands. I know the color orange is very popular in the Netherlands. I just like the color. It's kind of this fun color. So that's why, like, your name has a slight orange background, maybe a little more orangey yellow. And my channel has a bit of an orange look to it if you look at it. Let me see here. From Akil, you said under the trees. Why not below the trees or underneath the trees? Thanks. All would be correct. I'm doing an English lesson under the trees, below the trees, underneath the trees. All of those would be correct. I think I say under. Under is just kind of a useful word. Like the ball went under the car. I'm sitting under a tree. My backpack is under my desk. It's probably the most common way to describe those positions. From Tina. Hello, Bob. I have been working in the bank since I was 20. Which tense is more appropriate here? I have worked in the bank since I was 20. I have been working in the bank since I was 20. You can say both. I think I would choose the second one just out of preference. It's not more correct. Like, how long have you been working in the bank? I've worked in the bank since I was 20. I've been working in the bank since I was 20. Yeah, it might be either or. Notice I made contractions there. That would be a little more natural. I've worked in the bank since I was 20. I've worked at the school for 40 years. I haven't. That's a long time. I've been working in the bank or at the bank since I was 20. By the way, in the bank and at the bank both work as well for prepositions. Hung has the next question. I'm going to take an exam next week. I hope it goes well. So how do you study for college entrance exams when there is, little fix there, when there is only a week left? Do you often study harder than before? And any tricks? Thanks. No, but I would hope that you've done a lot of studying already. And I hope you're just doing quick review. Hopefully you are already aware and have spent a long time studying for it. And I would just do like little sessions to refresh my memory, couple hours every day. That's what I would do. Ishfaq, what is the trunk of a plant? Well, I can show you. Let me see here. Hopefully this is still working. It's going to take a while, so bear with me. This is the trunk right here. This is the trunk. Huh. I'm exercising in my videos now, so hopefully you could see that. I'm not going to run to the other tree, but that would be the trunk of the tree. Hopefully you could see that. Now I want to watch myself do that. Oh, I'm back already on the live. Okay, there we go. That's the trunk. It's like the solid part at the bottom of the tree. I'll put you guys here. I'm going to have a little sip of water, catch my breath from that little run, and then get back to the lesson. Okay, let me look at the next question. And I'll get it on the screen. Here we go. Unsel. Hi, Unsel. Hi, Teacher Bob. How was the first day of the farmer's market? May it be a profitable and wonderful selling season. Have a great weekend. Bye. It was good. We did well. We sold well. It's a little disorganized at the beginning. It's a little messy. I was going to say cluttered. It wasn't cluttered. I've tried to use some of the words from this lesson from yesterday, but it was a good market, Unsel. Thanks for asking. If you want to see more of the market, it will be in the video on Jen's channel tomorrow. And if some of you aren't aware, I'll just put a little plug in here for Jen. Let me get that over here. Jen's channel. Jen does have a YouTube channel about the farm. So if you are interested and you want to see how the market went, I think there's a few little clips at the end, Unsel, that you can have a look at. That video won't come out till tomorrow on Jen's channel. So thank you for asking. It was a good day at the market. I did enjoy it. Where am I clicking now? Running away made me lose track of what I'm doing here, but not really. I should do members only chat in a little bit. Still got 15 minutes before that. Okay, here we go. There's just a lot of questions in the queue, so I feel like I need to go fast, but I'm just reminding myself, just calmly take an hour, speak clearly, answer the questions, and it's good for everyone. Vera, hello, Bob. How often do you eat sweets or junk food? Do you try not to eat that kind of food a lot? Have a nice day. Yesterday, I ate chocolate on the way to the baseball game. I had a hot dog at the baseball game. Usually, I don't eat sweets or junk food on a daily basis. I do, though, on a weekly basis I usually have a little bit of ice cream once a week. I have some chips once a week, but it's not part of my daily eating or my routine. So I might have a cookie every day, like a small cookie with lunch or something. But usually I try to eat as healthy as possible. Let's see, next one from William. Teacher Bob, my question is, I have seen the expression, I appreciated his calling me. Would it be better to say, I appreciated him, he called me, thank you? So both would be right. I think the first one, I would probably say, I appreciated his call. Or I appreciated that he called me. That sounds more natural. There's nothing wrong with the sentence, I appreciated his calling me. But for me, it's not the natural way I would say it. I would probably say, I appreciated his phone call, or I appreciated his call, or I appreciated that he called me. I appreciated him. You could say the second one too. Like, I appreciated him, he called me. That totally works as well, for sure. From Viet, hi sir, I'm making my schedule. Would it be better to practice English 3 hours a day, twice a week, on weekends, or 30 minutes a day, several times a week? Thanks. Whatever works best for you. Here's what works best for me when I'm studying a language. It's best for me to spend 30 minutes to an hour every day, and then sometimes take a day off. So 5 or 6 days. spending 30 minutes to an hour. That works best for me. It keeps me attached to the language. I find if I take too many days off, like if I practiced every other day, I start to forget what I did the 2 days before. So that's what I would do. So I would recommend 30 minutes or an hour every day, 5 or 6 days a week. 7 if you can do it, but sometimes it's good to give your brain a little bit of a break. It can be helpful. Sometimes resting your brain is good every once in a while. From Mustaf, how to search new vocabulary on the same topic. Well, Google is very handy. Like if you're looking for a list of vocabulary to use in the classroom, a list of vocabulary to use on a farm, a list of vocabulary about insects that land on your head when you're trying to do a live stream, a list of vocabulary for computers. That's what I use. When I make a lesson for you, like when I made this lesson for yesterday, I usually have about 15 or 20 or 25 words that I've thought of. And then the next thing I do is I go to Google and I say vocabulary to describe things around the home. And then I find another 5 or 10 words to add and mix in to the list I had. So that's what I would do, is just use Google. I hope that's not too simple of an answer, but I think that's what I would do. And then Daquan, good morning, Bob. What's the best way to learn vocabulary? Thank you. If you can, the best way to learn some vocabulary is visually. So I've said this before, when you see, let me get off this screen here. That was not the one I wanted to go to. When you see a tree with the word tree, and you see a bench and it has the word bench, and you see a picnic table, if you can create flashcards that have the English word on one side and a picture on the other side, that's a great start, because then you don't have to think in your own language, right? So if I show you a phone and I say phone, you don't have to think téléphone or whatever it is in your language. You can just, I think some people call this a handy in Australia. Is that what they call it? Don't come here for Australian English. But so number one. Number two, you got to use it right away. I always say distance and repetition with vocabulary. If you learn the word trunk, you should use the word trunk in a sentence today. Either say it out loud or write it, and do the same tomorrow and the day after and the day after that, and maybe the 5th day. But if you can learn a word and if you can visualize it and then use it as much as you can, that is my recommendation for learning vocabulary and remembering it for sure. Connie, is it the best way to learn and memorize words by reading books? Books are helpful. It's tricky. You have to find a book at the right level, though. You should be understanding 60 or 70% of what you read, and then maybe you can figure out the rest. Like for me, if I can understand enough when I'm reading in French, because I'm a French learner, if I can understand enough to enjoy the story and understand what's going on, but I'm missing 10 or 20 or 30% of the words, that's a nice space for me, because I can figure out what some of the words mean in that situation. Is it best to learn and memorize words by reading books? Books are great, but there are a lot of different ways to learn words. You can watch a show, and every time you watch a TV show, you write down 10 or 15 words and then memorize them. You can make flashcards. You can use Quizlet. You can use an app. You can read. There are a lot of ways. I don't think any way is the best. In fact, I think you should be using a number of different methods for learning vocabulary. From Redfish, good morning. Do you swear a lot? Yeah, when there's bugs landing on me. I don't know what they are. I think last year I sat under this tree and really tiny bugs were falling. Or maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe this is how Bob the Canadian ends up losing his cool on a live stream because of imagined bugs in his hair. Anyways, do you swear a lot? No. Do I swear? Sometimes. And I think everyone does at some point. I sometimes swear when I hurt myself, if I trip and fall, or if I hit my finger, or if I do something in English we would say do something dumb and I hurt myself, sometimes a swear word would come out, and not a strong swear word. When I was younger and I was around my friends, they swore a lot. I didn't. I think because I'm a teacher and in my professional life, I don't swear. And as a dad, when I had little kids, I just wouldn't swear in front of them. So then eventually you just don't use swear words. So, but I don't find them overly offensive if I watch a movie and there's some swear words. But I myself, I can't swear at work. That's just not appropriate for a teacher. And then as a parent, I just don't. Jen and I just don't. So, next question. Here we go. Arturo. I consider it so difficult, phrasal verbs, because some of them have a lot of meanings. What can I do? So with phrasal verbs, so here's the thing with phrasal verbs. You don't need to use them, at least not right away, but you do need to understand them because we use them a lot. So one of the things you can do is memorize phrasal verbs as if they're one word, okay? So if a phrasal verb like to put off, like I could have put off doing this live stream until tomorrow. So you can take put off and you can learn that it means to delay something. So instead of looking at it as the verb put with off, look at put off as a whole word and then try to memorize it the same way you would memorize trunk or whatever other word you would memorize. So that's the best advice I can give. From Nima, hello, dear Bob. Have you heard of universal grammar proposed by Noam Chomsky, aka Chomsky's theory? Thank you, sir, for your great videos. No, I have heard of the name Noah Chomsky, of course. Noah Chomsky, universal grammar. This is something I'm going to have to read about. Is a theoretical concept proposed that the human brain contains an innate mental grammar that helps humans acquire language. Well, there's something pretty special about our brains, like the fact that we can not only learn to speak as we're growing up, but that we can learn other languages means that something up here, something pretty cool is going on. My description is not as good as Noam Chomsky's. His description is universal grammar. Mine is there's something cool happening in our brains. So in English, we would say we're wired to learn languages. So if you imagine the brain like a computer, we're wired to learn languages, I think. Let's see here. This is from Mode. Hi, Mode. Hi, Mr. Bob. What does the whole kit and caboodle mean? And is it a common phrase? And is it the end all be all or the be all end all? Can you flip them? No. So it's the end all be all. Is it? It's not the end all be all. Yeah, that's what I would use. I don't use that phrase a lot. It is common though. But the phrase, the whole kit and caboodle, means everything. So I'm outside. I have my microphone, my camera, the other camera, my light. I actually have a light because it's really shady here. My table, my computer, like I have the whole kit and caboodle out here. So it's simply a way to refer to a whole bunch of stuff. When you go camping, you have to put the whole kit and caboodle in your car. So is it used? I think by older people. Like I think my mom might use that word, the whole kit and caboodle. But it's fun. It's fun to say, isn't it? And then Mode has a bird as his third emoji. So let's listen if we can. There are a few really quiet birds right now, but there are some chirping. So yeah, I started talking right when the bird started talking. Anyways, end all be all. That's what it would be. That means like the ultimate of something, right? Like it was the end all be all of baseball games. From MD, hi Bob, have you ever been to Dubai? No, but I would love to travel someday. That is not really high on my list. There's a few other things in front of that, but that would be fun to go in that direction. If no, I hope you come someday so we can meet. Such a beautiful city. I have heard that. I know people who have visited and have really enjoyed it. Okay, let's see here. Let's do this question. Pina says, hi Bob, which food is your favorite in Canada? You know, when I'm hungry, pretty much anything. So last night at the baseball game, I had a hot dog and that was really yummy. I like pizza. It's not really a Canadian food, but it is a food we eat in Canada. Oh, that's a loud. Oh, there's bikers. Sorry, I don't have my camera, but there are people on bikes, and Walter does not like it. Hey, Walter. Walter, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. You go back to sleep. There's some bikers on the road. Oh, now Oscar's outside. Okay. Yeah, when I'm hungry, any food. But what would I? In the summer, I do really like if you can go somewhere and have a barbecued hamburger or a barbecued hot dog. That's really yummy. But overall, mostly pizza. Yeah. So we have two dogs, Walter and Oscar. You can see more of them if you watch Jen's videos. They're usually with Jen. They are quite attached to Jen. So sometimes, you saw Walter's tail earlier. Okay, let's get to members only chat. Let's go river cam. Let me give you a nice view of the river without me in it. And then let me get to members only. If you're one of the 400 people watching, first of all, that's awesome. Thank you for being here. You don't need to leave. What's happening now is I am switching to what's called members only chat mode. So as we go through the lesson, I answer questions from everyone from the form. But at this point, if you are a member, if your name is green and you've clicked the join button below, you can ask a question. Members get a little week at a glance lesson every Monday, a little written list of ideas with a song of the week and some other fun things, like fun in a teacher way. There's an extra video for members on Wednesdays called Wednesdays with Bob, where I just talk about things that are happening in my life or on the farm. And then you also get to have your name in green during a live stream, and you can ask questions during members only chat. So I'm going to continue with questions from the form, and then as questions from members show up, I will answer them. And we'll go from there. Sound good? Here we go. Nastran. Hello, dear Bob. Could you define the verbs deal with and look into and use them in sentences? Thanks a lot. So if I see a student at school misbehaving, I will deal with it. That means I will approach the student. I will say, you're not supposed to be doing that. I will put myself into that situation and fix it. Jen, just now, the dog started to bark and Jen decided to deal with it. So she opened the door and the dogs are actually in the house now. So in the past tense, she dealt with that situation. So that was very, very nice of her. So when you deal with something, it kind of means you solve it. Okay. And then to look into means to research. If someone said to me, let me see, I'm trying to think, we bought flowers from you and they died within an hour. I said, oh, we'll look into that. We'll try to figure out what happened. So sometimes when there's a crime, the police will look into it. It means they will do some research. So let's use both verbs and talk about the police. If someone was robbing a store and a policeman saw them, or a police officer, they would deal with it. They would immediately go and stop that person. If, though, a store owner called and said, someone robbed my store, the police would then look into it. So they have to try and figure out who robbed the store. That's kind of two examples using the same verb, both of your verbs. Two examples, one with each of those. Let's see, from the chat. Hafia says, The Lord of the Rings or The Wheel of Time. Oh yeah, those are good books. Also TV shows now, right? Daquan says hi. Hi, Daquan. Zeev says, hi, Teacher Bob. What's up? How's the weather over there? It looks like a nice day. It is probably the nicest day that I've ever done a live stream. This got to be like top 10 or higher for outdoor live streams. There's hardly any wind. You can see the leaves slowly moving on this. That's how I know the camera's working. There's a few birds chirping. It's like 18 degrees Celsius right now. So it's very, very nice. From Mode, great. My internet started acting up just when we got into members only chat. Sorry about that. Is your internet a little bit flaky? Was that a word I taught yesterday? I think I taught flaky yesterday. Let's see. Maybe not. Yes, I did. Oh, the TV is flaky. There you go. Sometimes things are flaky. From Brent from American English with this guy, or American English with Brent. Hello, Bob and everyone. Cleaning the house and listening. Good job. And that's a great thing for you to do if you re-listen to a lesson. I often encourage, like my lesson from yesterday, it's a good idea to re-listen to this. You don't have to re-watch it. It can be effective just to listen to it in the background as well. Let's see. Mode says Brent, like the way Mode is typing that, Brent with capitals with an exclamation mark, it's the same as saying hello. Okay. So if I see Brent in a month, the first time I see him, I might be like, Brent. And it's very similar when you say someone's name like that or type it like that. It's similar to a greeting. And Brent might say, Bob. And then we would do the, hey, how's it going? Long time no see, etc., etc. Let's see. Daquan, good morning. Brent, Freddie Wolf says cell phones are called Handy in Germany and GSM in Belgium. In France, we just simply call it portable. Oh, yeah. And nice emoji. I like emojis. Very cool. Thanks, Freddie. Hafiez, is the Fitbit watch you're wearing, Bob? Oh, yeah. Is it a Fitbit you're wearing? Which, this is a Charge 5. I'm trying to get it here. My sister has a Charge 6, but I don't think there was a big advantage. I'm very happy with the Charge 5. As most of you know, I don't like spending money until this starts to fall apart or until it is broken, until it needs to be replaced. I'm not going to get a new one. Those are all words and phrases from yesterday's lesson. Let's see here. Mode says to Hafiez, yeah, there seem to be a couple of variations of that phrase. That's what I found when I looked it up. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yaroslav says, hello, the wisest teacher, Bob. I haven't been into English for almost a year. It's hard to get back to practicing English. A little fix there. Can you give me some advice? A little fix there. Thanks. Be well. Lots of respect. I miss all of you. So Yaroslav, for me, when I am not motivated to learn French, there's one thing I can do that helps me, and it's to listen to French music. So if you're saying it's been hard to study English for the last year because you're not like excited or energetic or enthusiastic, I would recommend you find some good English music to listen to. That works for me. It doesn't work for everyone, but I would say that would be the advice I would give. And watch some fun YouTube videos. Like even if you're just watching fail videos or something. Fail videos are when people like trip and fall and drop things, and then because we're human, we think that's funny when it really isn't. But do something that you enjoy. Freddie says, Bob, have you been surprised to hear a little swear word that you didn't know your kids used in conversation when they were little? What was your reaction? Did that make you laugh? Thanks, Bob. So here's a little story. I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and I was wrestling with my cousin on his front lawn. He's a year younger than me, and so we were like just play wrestling, right? Just the way kids play. And then all of a sudden he used the F word, which for those of you that don't know, I don't want to say it, but it starts with F, spelled F-U-C-K. It's a swear word in English. It's very common, probably one of them. And then sometimes we have the word off after it. So we were wrestling, and all of a sudden he just said F off. Like he said the whole word. And I was like, I just stopped wrestling because here was this like 9-10-year-old kid, and I was 10 or 11, like swearing at me. And I just froze because I was like, "There's parents here. Where's his mom?" Because I thought he was going to get in trouble and maybe I would. So anyways, little story about swear words. Yeah, sometimes my kids, when they're little, they'll say a swear word and you'll say, "Oh, I'm not sure where you learned that," but that's a swear word. Brent says, be careful. A handy is something way different in the US and Canada. Yeah, you want to avoid that word for sure. Zeev says, I have Samsung Watch 6. It's very good. I recommend it. Who do I know that has a Samsung Watch? My older brother, I think, had one, a Samsung Watch. But I only see him a few times a year, so I'm not too familiar with it. Let's see. Lolly says, hello from France. Hi, Lolly. Good to see you. Yaroslav, music and videos keep me on the level. Yes, they're nice, right? Like it's a passive way to learn English, but it can be very relaxing to sit and listen to some English music. Lolly Lolly says, sorry for being late. No problem. Let me see here. Let me get another question on the screen while we wait. Oh man, there's a lot of questions in the queue. That's okay. From Vietnam. Hi, sir. What do you often do to relax effectively after a long day and then to get ready for the next day, or to be ready for the next day? Thanks. So for me, I do watch a lot of YouTube videos. That's enjoyable for me. There's about probably 7 or 8 YouTubers that I watch regularly. So that's relaxing for me. There's one YouTuber called Martin Doulard who makes really long videos where he's renovating his cabin in Italy. I like those. Sometimes on a Saturday afternoon, I will watch cooking shows and fall asleep while I'm watching them. But day to day, usually I might watch the news. I might read a book. I might watch a baseball game or a basketball game on TV. That's how I would relax at the end of a day for sure. Let's see here. Mode says to Lolly Lolly, you have to use one of the excuses from Bob's video on being late, or we can't accept your apology. Yeah, I did do a video on being late. That's a great suggestion, Mode. Maybe Lolly Lolly could dig into her notes and find an excuse for us. Hey, I'm going to turn off members only chat. Give me a second here. And I do want to thank all of my members. You guys are awesome. It is nice to have kind of like a little support team that not only helps me buy cool new things like the camera over there, but you guys are pretty supportive and positive. I like the comments that you leave. I like the amount of activity I see in chat when I'm doing live streams. I think it's good to have that core group of people who are always happy and excited to learn English and to be part of the lessons. So very cool. Thank you to all of you, especially to you guys who are here today. That's awesome. Let's see. Let me get another question on the screen, and we will keep answering questions. I should have a sip of water. I'm not sure when Brent joined us, but Brent, I went on a field trip yesterday. We went to a baseball game. So I was on school buses. I was talking loudly, giving a lot of instructions. So my voice is like, teachers call it kind of like the day after voice, like when you do something besides normal teaching where you have to talk loudly a lot. So Brent would be familiar with going on field trips, although he teaches younger children than me. So his field trips might be louder, but teenagers are pretty loud too. Okay, let me see. I think I had a question up here. Omar, I love you so much, Mr. Bob. Thank you. I plan to travel to Britain as soon as I finish high school in 1 year, and I'm intermediate in English. Could you give me some advice? So 2 things. Number 1, before you go, try to immerse yourself in as much English as possible. So make sure you are familiar with like the music you're going to be hearing when you're there. Be familiar with the area you're moving to. Learn the names of some of the streets of the place where you're going to live. Use Google Maps to kind of figure out where the nearest coffee shop is. Think about the things you're going to be doing when you're there and try to learn as much vocabulary as you can. If you're going to a school, learn all the school vocabulary, university vocabulary, things like roommate and dorm room and anything that's suitable. And then learn all the vocabulary for what people your age will be doing outside of class. Like maybe you're going to the cafe, maybe you're going to a club. Try to just be as familiar as possible with all of that. And then when you do move there, make sure you try as much as possible to hang out with English speakers. Sometimes students come to learn English in an English-speaking country, and they quickly find other people from their own country and spend too much time with them. You should hang out with people from your own country. Like if people come to Canada to learn English, you should hang out with people from your own country, but make sure you don't spend all of your social time with them, because then you'll just end up speaking your native language. And yeah, that's just not a great experience. Brent says, I teach high school now, so much better than middle school. That's a young man's game. My first year teaching high school. Oh yeah, very cool. I forgot. Yes, you moved schools. Remember you mentioning that last summer that you were moving schools, and then you did a little video in your new school, which looked very new. But I think the water fountain wasn't working. I can't remember. One of the videos, it kind of made me smile how in North America we build new things, and then parts of it sometimes break right away. Not everything's perfect in Canada and the United States. That's for sure. Let's see here from Yusuk. Hi, Bob. My question is, how do we think you can prevent from forgetting words? I think it happens when I learn big words, especially ones from the news, articles, etc. So again, use the words as many times as you can right after you learn them. That is the best way for remembering those words. And then, like, not the same day. If you learn the word travel mug, don't use it 5 times today. Use it once today in a sentence. Use it tomorrow. Use it Monday. Use it Tuesday. Use it Wednesday. Try to spread out your usage of those new words. Is there an English word to describe a gift that doesn't really make any sense? It is just standing on a shelf and collecting dust. Yeah, gifts are strange. Like sometimes you get a gift that you didn't want or you didn't need. So if someone was to give me a pizza cutter, I would be like, thank you, but I already have one. So it's kind of awkward. So it would probably just go on a shelf and start collecting dust. That's a phrase. That's a great phrase, by the way, meaning you're not using something. But no, there's no specific word for a gift like that. No, not at all. It's just something you didn't need or you didn't want. From Chen, hi, Teacher Bob. Is there any difference between the word farmer and peasant? Thank you. Yes. So farmer is a current term for someone who grows fruits, vegetables, crops, has livestock like sheep, goats, or cows. That is a farmer. A common term used all the time. It's gender neutral. So Jen is a farmer. Bob is a farmer. Okay. So it's just man or woman. If they grow stuff or they have animals, they are a farmer. Peasant is an older word referring to maybe like 200, 300 years ago, someone who maybe doesn't own land, is poor maybe. Often the word, it becomes poor peasants, like the poor peasants didn't have enough food. So that is more of a historical term, whereas farmer is definitely a term used like right now. It's a daily, I was going to say it's a daily driver in English. A daily driver is a car you drive every day. It's a regular word in English. From Suelen, hi, Teacher Bob. I'm a farmer here in Brazil. Perfect use of the word farmer after the last question. Completely accurate, perfect sentence. Thank you. Hi, Teacher Bob. I'm a farmer here in Brazil. We are in the harvest season of coffee here. Have you tried Brazil's special coffee? So I went on a field trip with another teacher, and we went to a coffee roastery, and they had coffee from every coffee producing country in the world. So I had coffee from Brazil, coffee from Ethiopia, coffee from Colombia. It was yummy. So I have had coffee from Brazil, and it was very tasty. But I don't drink coffee. So I was quite chatty when I got home. I was quite, what would you say? Not agitated. That came later. But caffeine affects me in a funny way. I get very energetic when I have coffee. Even decaf. There's a tiny bit of caffeine in decaf coffee. Freddie the Frenchie, in one of her videos, Jen showed us the goats who were pregnant. Has she ever needed to call a veterinarian in the middle of the night following birth complications? Not in the middle of the night, but we have called a vet on a few occasions. Sometimes the goats have trouble delivering. Sometimes the goats need medicine. It's not very common because we do know how to do a lot of things ourselves. Jen is a very good farmer. She's very good at taking care of goats and helping them deliver their babies. Hyper, thanks Hafiaz. In the chat, Hafiaz says hyper. Yes, when I have coffee, I get a little bit hyper. So yes, we do call the vet when we need to, for sure. But we have learned to do a lot of things ourselves. Like we vaccinate ourselves. Jen delivers the kids, the goat kids herself. For sure. I'm going to skip the next question because it's quite political. I try to avoid sensitive political questions. My job, I feel, is to teach English. And I don't like to, I don't often talk about politics, religion, sex. There are some topics that cause arguments in the chat in the comments. And I think as an English teacher, my biggest role is to teach English and to help people communicate so that we can have a better world. Okay. So sorry if you're maybe offended if I skip a question, but I would say sometimes it's just that's not what we're here for right now. We can solve the world's problems by learning a language that helps us communicate together. Next question, though, I will answer relationship questions, apparently, from Mikhailo. Dear teacher, today I'd like to ask you about your own constitution. Namely, what is 2 of your life rules that help you in life and with communication? Thanks a lot. I like to be honest. Sometimes I'm too honest, but I think it's partly part of my heritage. I think people from the Netherlands are quite direct. They say things quite directly without, like, instead of saying, if someone said, do you like my haircut? I would probably say no if I didn't like it, which is kind of rude. So I speak directly, but I actually think that can be very helpful sometimes. The other rule I have in life comes from my grandmother. Sometimes when I speak directly, it might upset someone or I might offend someone. So I have become good at apologizing when I do something wrong. Okay. So you can be very direct in life, but sometimes you might upset someone. And then it's important to say, look, I'm sorry. What I said wasn't appropriate, or, hey, I'm sorry I spoke so directly. I think those 2 things: speak directly, but apologize when you need to apologize. Let's see here. Landrick is here. Hi, Bob. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've been on a live stream, or it's been a long time since I've watched a live stream. Hopefully you're doing great. I am. I'm having a nice day. I'm out here on the farm. Is the river cam still alive? It is still alive. Good. It's really green. It's lovely. The temperature's nice. You guys should try to guess in the chat how many hours sleep I had last night. It appears as if I had a great night's sleep, but why don't you type a number? How many hours do you think Bob slept last night based on my behavior? I'm a little hyper today, which might be an indicator. And I did say I went on a field trip last night. So let's see. Oh, question. Here we go. From Ismail. Hi, Bob. I wonder if your favorite color is orange. Well, then why does blue shirts always catch your eye? Even your eyes approve of the color blue. Thank you. Vitor's close, by the way. So I like orange, but I don't know if it looks good on me, like as a choice of color. I like shirts that I have blue-green eyes, and I was told years ago when I wear blue, it makes my eyes look nice. I'm not super vain, but like anyone, I like my hair to be cut nice. I like to trim my beard, and I like to wear shirts that maybe make me look good, and I think blue does that. So I don't know if orange does. I have an orange shirt. I should wear it someday, and you guys can tell me if it looks good on me. In the chat, Vitor, 5, Jim, 6. Yusuk says 10. Freddie Wolf wins. I got 4 hours of sleep. 4. 3, 2.5. Ralph had 2.5, so my guess is 2.5. Yeah, you seem jittery and hyper. I'm guessing 4.5 hours. Very close. 2.5 hours sleep. Little under. Mode 4 hours, 45 minutes, and 20 seconds. Not quite. Yeah, went to bed at 2, got up at 6. Actually, Freddie's close, but Mode might be... It's kind of split between Mode, Ags, and Freddie, because I think I was in bed at 10 to 2 and up at 10 after 6. So somewhere in there. Anyways, I will be having a nap this afternoon for sure. Good guesses, everybody. Renata says, for your brain to learn effectively, you've got to sleep, at least 7 to 8 hours a day. So here's the thing for me. I can function quite well on very little sleep the day after. So if I only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, I will probably be fine today, but Sunday and Monday will not be good. For some reason, like if I stay up late, which I don't do often, I can do fine for about a day. I'm usually energetic and I feel okay. And then probably around 5 or 6 o'clock today, I'll start to feel quite tired. So, hey, to Siam and Bruno, welcome to channel membership. That's awesome of you. I see in the chat that you have joined as members. That is very, very awesome. Oh, and Daquan says, I'm going to Niagara Falls later in the summer, Bob. It's a cool place. I haven't been yet this year. Usually we go in the middle of the winter for a bit. Okay, let me get through these questions. I'm going to skip the next one, Mr. Azaz. It's a little delicate to answer. From Garfield, have you been to Taiwan? I have not. I have not been to that part of the world at all. Okay. I haven't been to Korea. I haven't been to Japan. I haven't been, nope, sorry. I haven't been to Vietnam. I haven't been to Australia or the Philippines, but someday maybe I will make it out that way. Let's see. Next question from Alex. Hi, Bob. How many hours a day do I need to learn English? So it kind of depends on what your goal is. If you are 17 and you're going to go to university in a year in an English-speaking country, you should be spending a lot of time learning English right now, like an hour or 2 hours a day if you can do it, and take a class in your high school or school where you're learning English. If you are retired and you're learning English as a hobby, I would say half an hour a day, 5 days a week, maybe an hour a day, 5 days a week if you have the time. If you want to get a promotion at work and English will help you get that promotion, I would study about an hour to an hour and a half a day. If you are taking a test like your B1 or B2, if you're studying 30 minutes a day, I would certainly increase that for a couple months beforehand, for sure. Brent says, when you visit Maine, I have a straight 72 hours of activities planned, so buckle up. So, well, I guess if I'm not sleeping, there's no point in getting a hotel room then, Brent. I could just, we're going to go straight for 72 hours for sure. Oh, that'll be fun. Hey, I got to get that organized. I better get on that. So, let's see. This is from Chinwei. Hi, Bob. I'm going to go to Toronto for about 20 days for my wife from June 7th to the 26th. Do you have any suggestions for my trip, like travel hotspots? Thank you so much, Bob. No, I don't know a lot about Toronto, but I do know that it's very easy, fun, and inexpensive to go see a Blue Jays baseball game. That's where I was last night. It's just a lot of fun. And it's a very North American thing to do. I know you're in Canada. Baseball is kind of the American pastime, but we do have one team in Canada. So go catch a game. Like maybe you can see the Blue Jays play a famous team from the US. That might be fun. The other thing I would say is there's a theater district. And I just saw Les Miserables, which was a little while ago. I think that show's done, but there's a bunch of theaters where you can go see a play. I would do that as well. I think that would be a fun thing to do. But other than that, I've started to go to Toronto more just in the last couple of years. And Jen and I are starting to learn the city and learn what to do for fun in Toronto as well. So that's what I would suggest for sure. Hey, I'm done the questions. So I'll just kind of hang out and talk to people in the chat for a minute or two, and then we'll wrap this up in just a little while. Renata says, I'll sign off now. Nice chat, guys. Have a great day. Stay positive. That's nice of you, Renata. Have a good day. Let me scroll back. I see here a few people are chatting. Very cool. Daquan says, I'm going to Niagara Falls. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Very cool. Renata says, just to say thank you so much. I'm getting ready to move from Brazil to Tennessee in a few months, studying with your channel. Oh, that is a big move. That's from Bruno. Let me get my glasses on. I think when I looked at it, it looked like Renata, and I didn't think Renata was moving. Bruno says, just to say thank you so much. I'm getting ready to move from Brazil to Tennessee in a few months, studying with your channel. That's awesome. Very cool. Denis says, oh yeah, talking about energy drinks. Yeah, I avoid those too. They make me hyper and fidgety and all of those things. So, hey guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I think we're done with the questions. I'm going to put it on Rivercam and let you have a little view. Oh, well, that's the wrong button. There we go. I'm going to let you have a little view of that. I'll come back in a sec. I'm just going to have a sip of water and read the chat. But it has been fun to spend an hour with you and to answer some of your questions. I hope that you have a good weekend. I hope that you're having a good weekend. I guess it's Saturday already. I think when you work late on a Friday, Monday comes fast. That's how I would describe it. Let's see. Mode says a dirty look is more serious than a funny look, right? Yeah. Like if I give one of my kids a dirty look, like they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. If I give someone a funny look, yeah, that's a little different. Let me see. What would a funny look be? Like I said to my kids, I'm going to give you each $100 and buy whatever you want. They would give me a funny look like, Dad, are you okay? Like, because I never do that. That's not something I would do. DeQuan says, Bob, you should come to Markham someday. I will visit Markham at some point. That is around Toronto, by the way, Markham. Anyways, let me say bye. Bye to Mode Eggs and Lolly Lolly and DeQuan. Mode likes the little view of the black screen. Yep, I have that queued up and ready to go. Lachdar says, some videos of you, Bob, are very functional, and these make me remind ESP English for specific purposes. Scientific language. Which level in English can one teacher match with English? Yeah, that's a tricky one. When you get into learning scientific terms and stuff, that's very high level. It'd be hard for me to teach scientific terms because I'm not a scientist. It's easy for me to teach farming terms or teaching terms, but it'd be tricky to do scientific terms. I'd have to research. Freddie Wolf says, thanks, Bob, for all. I wish you a great Saturday nap and a nice Sunday as well. You too, Freddie. I hope the rest of your weekend goes well. Esri says, hi, Bob. I love your channel and your pronunciation. Sometimes speakers sitting in front of webcams without shorts or trousers. What about you? No, well, you saw when I ran to the other camera that I'm definitely, do I need to do that again? Let's see. This is how I dress on a Saturday. Jeans, belt. I actually have my old shoes on right now because I don't know, when I come outside on the farm, not sure if you guys could hear me when I was over there talking, but yeah, that's how I look when I go outside and inside as well. Yaroslav says, bye, happy summer. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to say bye, final goodbye. I'll put it on the nature river cam screen for you for a few minutes, and then I will end the stream. So there we go. Oh, Jim says, do you watch some prank videos? I don't really like prank videos. Yeah, I don't like it when people try to trick strangers. I just don't think that's nice or fair. So I think it's bad taste, but it still makes me laugh. Well, that's kind of how humans are, right? So anyways, bye, everybody. See you. Well, yesterday's lesson will come out tomorrow in a shorter format, and I'll see you Tuesday with a new video.